Hello, Shawn, Kenney here, back playing some more StarMade. I was just attacked by pirates. Unfortunately, that little TIE fighter really doesn't do anything. Might have to improve that, put some weapons or something on it. A friend of mine was working on that. But I was working on a planetary defense cannon, and it's trying to track on something. And it's probably still flying way far away. I can't even see. But whatever, it's kind of turned into a football. So that is just one solid cannon. I sort of was looking at more weapon stuff and got sussed out a little bit of data for you. Just sort of wanted to show you this. I'm probably going to be pulling those power cores off. I was just using those for testing. This turret extender, all this turret stuff is part of my base rather than part of the planet, because what I want to do ultimately is I could make them invulnerable, but I want to test my defenses. So I'm going to have the planet as just normal, so it can be able to be shot up, and then I'll just have shield and stuff on my base. But this way I just ran like a block of hull down there, put the turrets, and then pick the hull back up. So that's sharing the same. That's going to be sharing the same power generation as my base, and the turret part at least should get the same shields as my base as well. So you can see mobs just sort of been hanging out around there. My turret's trying to take it out. We can have a few. Now I did have to put a faction block on it in order to connect it to my base, because my base has a faction block on it. And I'll just hop in it here for a little bit. Give you a little bit of an idea. I'm just going to coat it in shield generators, I figure. But otherwise it's just like one solid cannon. And one thing I did neglect to mention in my last video, and I have to give props to GigaGames21 for pointing this out and having some great questions on YouTube regarding weapons, sort of prompted me to look into weapons a lot further. And the one thing that I did miss that we really should know is when you press the T button to bring up your weapons menu and you click on your weapons computer, you can modify basically, I guess, the power, or what you want to emphasize on your weapons. You can modify damage, distance, reload, and speed. By default they're all 25. It will auto distribute unless you assign it. So for example, if I set all these to 0, we're going to get the same values as what we have right now. If I but I can pull power. I could say slow down the speed of the shot and increase the damage. Now if I were to put 100% power in the damage, I would double the amount of damage I do, but of course it would be reducing the distance, the reload. So like the speed's gone down to 15. So if I'm it's like that's kind of weird. It's like a snake. Alright, and what if we slow down the reload? So that goes down to like 84, and put all this power into damage. Unfortunately, like clicking and holding doesn't work in the moment. But so you could have like, it does what was the damage it was doing? Like 1,936. At 25%, it was sort of doing 1,100. I think this might be kind of hard to hit stuff with, to be honest. And since it's just one shot, like it's not going to be very effective, I don't think. And we could take the distance. I say it was like to about 2,000 meters or so, and that'll cut it in about half. Once again, well, okay, we assign it right. It's still auto-distributed, and we assign 100%. So basically, this is double the amount of damage it was doing, and it's at the sake of everything else. What was the range on that? So 290, right? Like that's not even I mean, this is within range, but you know, it's not. Nothing else is going to really be in range. You can definitely. I'm gonna go back because I did like the way this cannon was firing before, and give you maybe a bit of an example of that. It was kind of hard to see when it was trying to shoot into the planet. So let's fix all this. So I mean, like at just basic range, it's I don't have to assign it to these ones as well. But just going back to the default, you'll see what I mean here. So now it's doing 1,118 points of damage. It has a range of about 2,000 meters, reload 60, and the speed is 126. And what that sort of ends up gives you is like a cutting beam. Like this will it just tears through stuff. It's kind of crazy. So, you know, that is something that you can play around with. What I think I'm going to do is I've gathered a bunch of data. I sort of put a test bed together, and I was going through each configuration, just parsing out all the numbers. So what I'll probably do is I have a few graphs. I'll probably pop that up and throw an explanation along with it at the end of this video. So as you see, I was just had a bunch of blocks, and I was testing out speeds and what results. The other thing that I was looking at as well is you know, how splitting them up affects it. So for example, if you have this one cannon, so unfortunately the pirate shot some stuff up here, but this, you know, a 10 block cannon all sort of just in one row, you're looking at it's doing like a damage of 80. It has a distance of 416, a reload speed of 487, and a shot speed of 23. If you go right to the other end of the spectrum and go with the 10 separated blocks that are just one square each, you're looking at a total damage of 253. The distance they'll go is 330 meters. The reload speed is 652, and the shot speed is 17. So I mean, even at the slowest, well, I'm sure many of you have sort of experimented around with that, but you know, that's kind of what you're looking at as far as just one block. This one has two, but so it does a lot more damage, but you know, it is like you have to get in close. It's a shotgun. You know, at 330 meters, you're really not talking about a lot. Now, whereas if you have a large ship and going with with just one big block of a cannon, then you know, you're getting other benefits. Now, could I split that up and get more damage out of it? Yes. Using the same amount of blocks, you know, separating it out, it's going to ultimately give me more damage, but it's going to be reducing everything else. And I think that the others stuff in there really does affect it. Like you said, you know, that ends up being a cutting beam. You know, I could do it, make it do a whole lot more damage, and you know, maybe play around with the reload speed and maybe tweak it a little bit. But you know, the way that seems to work pretty good for me. I think, you know, you keep that on, and as an AI controlled turret, it's going to be hard to miss if it's sort of shooting out a stream of ammunition, and it has a long range, right? It'll just sort of pelt them away at a distance before it can even get close enough to use its weapons. So, you know, those are some of the trade-offs. And like I said, I have a few graphs. I'll throw those up at the end and try and explain what I was trying to show with them as well. So I'm Shawn Kenney. Thanks for watching. So long for now.
Okay, when I was breaking it down here, it looks like there is more or less a linear relationship between the number of cannons and, say, this is the damage, and this is the distance. the distance relationship's a little flatter. Then this is also just a little bit of extra footage I got when I was first trying to record this video, and I had the pirates attack, and I was sort of fighting them off with the planetary defense cannon. I didn't really like some of the narration, so I had to do it over again. But I thought we had some fun video here. The Vogon cube decided to, I don't know, try and ram and scare me, and it took off, knocking my target cube, while the planetary cannon was after something out in the horizon that I couldn't see, or was behind the planet or something. So I thought I'd just include it at the tail end, as we do get to fight a few of the pirates. I get to take out that Vogon ship, and I was just going to go and actually hop into the cannon and try it out for myself. At this point I'm starting to realize that, you know what, I think I'm going to lift this up and make it level with the surface of the planet, just so you get full field of view. I thought it might be nice to have it sort of recessed into the planet, but it's just going to make it more difficult for it to be used. There I was like actually hitting the Vogon constructor ship like well out of view distance. Say just like it shoots so quickly and so fast, just as you can see, it just took out the core. Well, of course on that ship the core is right on the front, so there it goes, lifeless. It's gonna fall down to the gravity well. And yeah, I see this. I'm sort of circling around and get that ridge of the planet. So I think the way to do it is lift this up somewhat and get it about the same level of the planet, and then maybe have one underneath, so that we'll have a full view. So I say here I'm pretty much done. Oh, fell down that hole. So I'll turn the AI back on. There we go. And let it try and auto-target whatever's left. Yeah, so I wasn't able to see from the core. I guess I'll have to maybe add a cockpit to where the shot's coming out of the cannon, because it was able to take out that TIE fighter and see it when I couldn't from where I was. And I think here we go, the last part, just shooting. I think it swings around at a distance, so there's, I don't think we actually get this guy in the end. But yeah, that's the planetary cannon in action. So you can see, just as one solid block, it's pretty effective. I'm certainly satisfied with it, that's for sure. Now I just need to skin it up, put some shields on it, and get it in the proper place. And I'm thinking might like to try and do a ship based on, you know, one or two really large cannons, and that be maybe the main body of the ship, and then figure out how to give it the best field of view. So thanks for watching.